I found myself walking in a cave, trying to go to a direction somewhere there's light. I'm really trying to find an exit, and what better way to do so besides finding that? I don't know how I got here, but it probably has something to do with a certain fair maiden who had been telling me a few things about maps at the dining table of a place. I mean, I remember having the conversation, I just can't figure out the details of our dialogue together. I didn't thought about it then, but now that I think of it, she had rather too light of a skin to be a peasant living in a small cabin. She did mention she had sold nasi lemak at a warung before, but she didn't elaborate much further. There was something off about her the moment I saw her enter the cabin that I just couldn't figure out, and I guess that was it. I was initially suspicious about her, but trusted her enough to listen to her explaining the map of this area I had spawned into. She also took control as my host after the monk died. As usual, the information the fair maiden divulged was sparse, and she was adamant that I couldn't take a picture of the map since it wasn't accurate enough and incomplete. The penultimate memory that I could recall before the blow to the back of my head hit me was a game of chess I had with the fair maiden that I just was about to win. She told me that it was getting rather late, that she wasn't tired yet, so she asked me if I wanted to play chess with her. I was rather exhausted myself, but I couldn't get myself to decline since she had been such a nice host, and also we played for a while until the pain hit me. Now I'm in a cave, trying to find my way out. I had my distrust for her before, but I had no grounds for it then. The cynicism that I had is definitely justified now. I would think, though. I'm rather disappointed that I was betrayed nonetheless. What I don't understand is why she allowed me to keep the camera that I had with me. I came up with a theory, thinking that the camera was originally hers, but she lost it then. When she saw me with it, she thought I was a dangerous bandit who had stolen it from her, so made a pact with someone to knock me out, then take it back. I later found the camera lying in the ground of the cave after a few hundred steps of walking to some direction of light. That threw my theory right out the window. Although it's a bit dark in this cave, I do believe it is the same camera, though I can't really confirm this since all the pictures have been deleted. I don't remember there being any compromising pictures in the camera, so I fail to understand why they had gone through this whole hassle to get rid of me and the entire gallery in the camera. The accomplice that the maiden had must have been rather strong to carry me all the way inside this cave. Wait just a moment. There was a picture of a tavern which I couldn't find anywhere after half a day of walking yesterday. My legs were still hurting then, so it was probably not as long as I had remembered it. I got out of the cave and saw the sky was getting cloudy. It was going to rain. I could use the rainwater to quench my thirst when it falls. I couldn't see any source of water from where I was standing. There was a young couple not far from the mouth of the cave having a picnic. It was rather odd to have a picnic at a time like this, considering the look of the sky tells that rain was imminent. The weather in this place I've been sworn in hadn't been so predictable. I could still recall yesterday when I woke up here. The sky was clear, but all of a sudden there was a strike of lightning which shocked both me and a little girl nearby was playing a kite then. Maybe the young couple was accustomed to the bizarre weather here already. The moment that thought came to my mind, they were already packing up and keeping their stuff in a carriage they rode. Maybe I could get a ride from them. I began to walk to their direction, but when they saw me, they immediately approached me to greet me a good morning. So it was still morning. I really couldn't tell from the state of the sky. They asked me if I had already finished my cave exploration. Were these two assigned as my chaperones or what? How did they know me, or were they mistaking me for somebody else? It was a large cave, but I didn't see anyone else in there, though. That was probably because it was too dark. I heard some noises in there. Let's just assume that was the sound of the bats. I was surprised myself. There was able to find my way out, and now these two are asking me if I had finished exploring the cave. I thought maybe I should just answer their question and affirm to them that I had indeed finished and wanted some water. They gave me some water from a flask, which I gratefully thanked them when I received it. They asked if I had found anything noteworthy inside the cave. I considered the question for a while, then showed them the camera that I had found for a second time. The first time was at the meadows yesterday, and now the second time at the cave just now. They didn't look impressed and asked me what it was. Their questions were starting to get weird, and the way they're saying things simultaneously as if they had the same minds, thinking the same thing at once, didn't help. I asked them if they've never seen a camera before, or do they only take pictures with their phones. Before they could answer, a downpour started, and they quickly got me into the carriage and started riding off. I got into the coach while the both of them held the reins of the horses. Before I got into the coach, the male introduced himself as the coachman, while the female introduced herself as the postilion. I nodded, as if I understood what either of those roles did, and they must have assumed I knew. They had come prepared for the rain, as they had their raincoats on. I definitely didn't. When I entered the coach, I was amazed at the intricate design of the interior. The materials for the seat were leather, that much I knew, but the rest of the coach was made out of some substance that was alien to me. I've never seen a vehicle like this before. I've never been in one, the sort, and it showed, and so says the other passenger who was inside, which I hadn't noticed until she spoke. There stood the fair maiden I talked with last night about the maps, now smoking a cigarette. This time she wasn't wearing rags and holding a pitchfork, though. I just stood there agape, not noticing my mouth was half open, until she placed a finger to my lips, which tells me that it is time to continue at a later time.